What's up guys, my name is Aaron. Today I'm going to be reviewing Spider-Man Homecoming. This is the third reboot of the character Spider-Man. He's played by Tom Holland in this movie. It's basically kind of Peter Parker trying to navigate his school life and his home life while also trying to be like a superhero. And in this movie, Vulture is the main villain, and Spider-Man is basically trying to stop him. I was looking forward to this because even though I wasn't like a huge fan of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, I still think that Spider-Man is probably my favorite hero. And anytime I get to see more of Spider-Man is always kind of cool. I think the actor that they got this time is really good. He actually looks like a teenage kid to me, so I think that's a really good plus. Plus, he's also in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is really good. I thought that's a really cool touch to kind of integrate him into that world, so I like that it's kind of that world. I think this is a good movie. I like that it's kind of disconnected from the other stuff in the MCU universe, but I do have some problems with it. It kind of deterred my overall enjoyment of the movie. First, I just want to say that Tom Holland is like perfect as Spider-Man. He really captures the kind of innocence and the kind of naive nature of the character. He's also really smart and he's really kind of witty with the things that he says, but he's also really awkward and really kind of down to earth. And I do like that it really does get the essence of the character from the comics that I read and stuff, and that how young he is and actually kind of going through high school and stuff like that. I think that they really did Spider-Man really good justice with the actual character, and I think that Tom Holland was perfect and is probably the definitive Spider-Man to me. I also like the John Hughes vibe that they were going for. They're really trying to go for like a Breakfast Club or the Ferris Bueller's Day Off type of vibe with the kind of lighthearted nature of the movie, and I think they really got that across really well. For the first time, they really spent a lot of time with the high school and stuff, and you really get a sense of like Peter's relationship with a lot of different kids and teachers and stuff like that, and it really does feel kind of lived in. The supporting characters aren't given like a lot of like depth to them, I guess, in the supporting cast, but I do think that it feels lived in enough and the types are there that you kind of expect from a high school, and I think that it really makes it feel kind of authentic to the high school experience. My favorite to me is probably Zendaya as Michelle. She's like this really dry, really awkward loner girl that kind of just says these like kind of one-liners about these people and stuff in the high school, and she's really gunning for Peter, but she also kind of gravitates towards him and kind of just hangs out around him and stuff. It's kind of that weird contradiction that teenagers kind of have. I liked her like really just like dry like delivery and stuff like that, and I think Zendaya really had some good comedic timing with that character, and I think I would definitely like to see her more in the future of these movies and stuff. There are also some other people that I liked, like Jacob Batalon as Peter's friend Ned. I think he was a little bit too much at times with how cutesy they were trying to make his character be like the audience surrogate, but I think that he did a good enough job kind of saying all the funny stuff and having a serious moment here or there too. I thought that Hannibal Buress as this like coach was really funny. Like, I think Hannibal Buress is so funny, just him being there. So I just think that him being in this like world is really funny as this like coach that just really doesn't care at all, and he probably has the best line of the movie with the Captain America line that he says. He was really funny. And then Martin Starr's in there too as this academic decathlon teacher, and I thought that he was really funny. Like, he was really monotone with the way that he was delivering his lines. Like, you know how Martin Starr does his lines and stuff, and he did a really good job with that character. And I thought that Tony Revolori, the guy from the Grand Budapest Hotel and Dope, I thought he was really good. Like, he kind of played this like kind of modern bully, like this kind of smart alecky type of rich kid type of dude, and I like that it was kind of different than the other Flash Thompsons that we had in the past, and it was kind of a more modern, more, I don't know, realistic take on the character. I like that this movie felt it was really funny and light for the most part, and I feel like the high school parts was where the movie really excelled for me, and that was probably like the highlight of the movie, just like it really feeling like a John Hughes vibe with the 80s high school comedy vibe that it was going for. I feel like that was definitely where the strength of the movie was. Another strength that I had with the movie was the villain. I think this is probably the best villain that they had since Loki. I think this is probably easily like the most relatable and, you know, well acted villain that they had. Michael Keaton plays Vulture. He's kind of this blue collar worker that kind of got screwed over by Iron Man, during the Avengers stuff, you really get a sense of why he's doing the things that he's doing. It doesn't feel like just like a crazy person just doing things like, I guess, like the villains in Wonder Woman or something like that. It feels like a real person had thoughts and aspirations and stuff, and he just felt like he was kind of screwed over, and you really do get a sense of why he acts the way he does. Like the showcase of Michael Keaton's acting was in there's like a late scene car scene where he's with Peter, and the way that he kind of just goes through these different types of modes was really well done. I think Michael Keaton did a really good job with that role. Definitely a highlight was just seeing him kind of bounce off of Peter to me. I think for negatives, I think that the female characters were kind of sidelined. Zendaya was probably the strongest of the female cast, but she really didn't have like a lot to do. She just kind of said one-liners. I thought that Liz, played by Laura Harrier, who was kind of like the love interest in the movie, she was kind of underutilized. Like I didn't really get a sense of who she was as a person. She kind of just felt like a plot device for Peter to just kind of fall in love with. I actually really liked the take that they had on Aunt May. I thought that it was really different, kind of seeing that takes no bullshit, kind of harder aunts, like a mother figure. But I don't know, like I just felt like the movie, all they did was just make jokes about how hot Marisa Tomei was. Like, I mean, I get it that Marisa Tomei is attractive and stuff and kind of different from the other Aunt Mays that we had in the past, but I just felt like that was the only thing that they did with the character, really, outside of like a scene or two where you really get a sense of how much she cares and stuff like that for Peter. I felt like it was just kind of just too jokey to me. Like it didn't really feel like a real person would say the things they were saying. It's not a female character, but Donald Glover was in 2 scenes in the movie, and he really could have been expanded on. I thought that his character was really interesting to me. I think the biggest negatives in the movie is definitely the action. That's the thing with the Spider-Man movie that you're really like there for, basically, like how well the action is done and like the innovative things that they do with his powers and stuff, like the Sam Raimi movies. There is nothing even close to that in these movies. I think that the only thing that was kind of well done was like this Washington Monument scene where you see in the trailer and stuff like that. I think that was really well done. It was really tense, and I think that was probably the best like use of action in these movies. I understand why the action isn't that strong. Jon Watts isn't like a director known for action. He's only done like smaller movies and stuff like that, but I felt like the action was really lackluster in this movie. The lighter scenes kind of showing off Peter Parker's powers were kind of cool. I felt like the actual use of the action scenes were kind of weird. Like there's like this initial contact with Vulture that was really kind of hard to follow. Like I couldn't get a sense of where a character was and stuff like that. It really felt really shaky, and it didn't really feel that strong to me, like the way that the action was handled. And that's definitely a disappointment for me, because the action is usually the best thing about the movie, and that's probably like the biggest gripe that I had with the movie. I also think that the relationship with Tony Stark and Peter was kind of weird too. I understand what they were going for. They really didn't want to do like another Uncle Ben situation with having him say, with great power comes great responsibility. And I'm glad that they didn't even show Uncle Ben at all. I don't even think they even mentioned him in the movie. But I just think the relationship that they used to kind of be like the emotional core of the movie was really weird. It really didn't feel that in line with the way that Iron Man and Tony Stark acted in the past. They were trying to make this like so emotional and stuff, but it really didn't work for the way that they set up his character, and it really just didn't do anything for me at all. But I think overall this is a good movie. I think the overall vibe of the movie was probably the best thing, kind of how they kind of paid tribute to John Hughes movies and other like 80s and 90s coming of age high school movies. I think that was where this movie had its real strength, with the supporting characters and kind of Peter's interactions with them and stuff like that. I think Tom Holland as Peter Parker is really good. I think that he really gets the essence of the character in a way that wasn't really done in the previous movies. And I think that the villain in this movie is actually really well done. You really get a sense of why he's doing the things that he's doing, and it really makes sense. And it has a really nice twist I liked at the end too. Some characters get sidelined, like the female characters and Donald Glover's characters could kind of be a little bit more expanded on. I think that Tony Stark was a weird choice to kind of be the emotional core of the movie. It really didn't mesh well with me. And I think the action is definitely the weakest part of the movie. I think the action is best described as fine, like that's the top I can probably give it, is fine. That's probably a really bad thing for a Spider-Man movie to be, because I think the action is probably where it should probably be the most creative and the most inventive to me. I think overall I would give this a 7 out of 10. I do think it's an enjoyable movie, and I could see myself going forward and watching this again. And I think the lighter take of it does lend itself to rewatch. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with this kind of put this over the top, but I do think this is a movie that you should go see and stuff like that. I think it's a watchable movie to me. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Spider-Man Homecoming. What are your guys' thoughts? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and thanks for watching. Thanks, guys. Bye.